Well, welcome back to another episode of the Run Disney Rundown. This week, we're talking about Princess Primer. We've got Princess Half Marathon Weekend, just 1 week out now. So we're going to talk about our plans, go through the event guide, and what we're excited for. But, as always, I'm not alone this week. I am joined by three good friends here. To my left, we have Steve Creasy.
How you doing tonight, Blake?
Doing well, doing well. Below us, we have Steve E.
Oh, man, I thought you were going to give me some sort of porta potty.
I forgot it. I had something and I forgot it.
I was waiting for that intro.
Yeah, I was like, you had a couple weeks here to give me something. Come on.
And joining us again, our friend Christy.
Hello.
Now, what's excited about having Christy on the show is she is making her return to the half marathon distance.
Oh, yes, I am.
And
yes,
also, she is helping support me because both the Steves here are not going to be at Princess, sadly, but they will be at Springtime. So look forward to all of that fun shenanigans. But continuing on, like I said, we're going to talk all getting ready for Princess Weekend. So if you have any questions about the weekend or Run Disney in general, feel free to put them into the live comments, and we will try our best to hit them all. We usually do. But why don't we go ahead and start with the expo? Christy, what are you excited for the expo?
Did you see the merch, that pink hoodie with the thin pink hoodie with all the parks on the sleeves? I'm excited about that. I'm also excited just about getting done with the expo. Like, I'm a little stressed about the expo, not gonna lie.
Yeah, so a little bit of expo info. Expo starts Thursday as usual. That rope drop time is 10 a.m. I will not be rope dropping the expo this time. I'm actually not getting there until Friday. So I can scrape through what's left, which is okay because we went totally crazy for us for Marathon Weekend. So we'll be okay if we get a couple little things this weekend.
Christy, you going Thursday morning? Christy?
I don't see myself waiting in line Thursday morning for the rope drop. What time does it go until? I want to go on Thursday because
to 8 p.m. Sorry.
Oh, it goes that long?
Yeah.
I thought the hours were shorter. I can't imagine I'm going first thing in the morning.
Is it typically busy the whole day, the first day?
Typically, none of the days are busy after like maybe 4 or 5 o'clock.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I went Marathon Weekend per Lake, and we talked about this when we did the recap. Per Lake's recommendation at like 6:30 or something, and it was the first day, I believe, but everything was picked over for one. But it was nice and empty, so that part was nice. So I feel like I want to get there before that, but not at 10 a.m.
Yeah, it is kind of fun getting there for rope drop. Everyone's so excited to be there, but it is like it's a lot. It's a whole other like process on top of being there for race weekend. It was like a whole nother day, a whole nother event.
Does anybody know when they allow you to start parking?
I'm pretty sure it's pretty early.
Yeah. I thought I wanted to say, I don't know if it was you or someone else that said it was like 5 a.m. they were letting people line up or something.
The rumor was that there were people who had been waiting there since like 5:30. I can't confirm that. That's just what people were saying.
Gotcha.
But Marathon Weekend, the expo started at like 9, right?
No, it was 10 o'clock
still
as
10?
well. Yeah,
Okay.
because we got there at like 8:30. And I felt like the time we got there for when we got into the merchandise was fine. Like, I wouldn't show up any earlier than that, but any later, and I think we would have ended up waiting quite a while, too.
Yeah. I
Did
can
you
say that. Oh,
Okay, Christy.
my kid has to get driven to school. So I definitely won't be there until 9:15 or so because we have to do at the earliest. So if I do go in the morning, it'll be after school drop off.
Did you go over the times, Lake? So it's 10 to 8 on Thursday, 10 to 7 on Friday. And just if you're coming only for the half marathon and going to be going on Saturday, it's 10 to 3, just as an FYI. It doesn't run as late on Saturday.
Yep. And then if you want to pop my screen,
Yep.
share up there, just a little bit about the layout. This is the same as it's been for the last 3 weekends. If you are going for your bib check-in, parking is at the bottom of the screen down here. You're actually going to walk all the way up through the main entrance, bypassing the first 2 buildings, and the HP Fieldhouse on the left there is where you're going to find your runner's relation, bib pickup, and check-in pass solutions, which I have to go to this time. Did you know, apparently, so this issue happens if someone else registers you, and then when you go to sign it, it makes you prompt to put their email in, so it'll link it to you, but you have to sign out of your account, like if you're the one who registered them, before they can sign in. And if you don't, that's why your thing disappears.
Huh.
Like, that is just the most bizarre, like, IT issue I could ever come up with. But apparently that's how that happens, and it happened to me this time. But it happened to Katie at Marathon Weekend, and she was like, yeah, it's just like doing it the old way. Anyways, HP Fieldhouse, that's going to be your check-in. I imagine that's going to be very standard to as it's been before. If you do have your check-in pass, you just have that and have your ID ready, and they'll get your bib and send you on your way. Across the way there is the actual expo building. That is going to be all the fun and excitement. Also where you'll pick up your Run Disney shirts. And then, well, they'll have all the different exhibitors. They'll also have, you know, the Run Disney. They'll have the little metal stand and the different photo ops there as well. Always a good time. Always recommend at least taking a few minutes to go through there. And then I'll check and see if that list of exhibitors is up already. Because last time I checked, it wasn't. And then finally, all the fun that we were just talking about, the first building you actually pass, the Advent Health Arena, is the official merchandise. This is also where your Club Run Disney information is. They have the big photo opportunities there. That's typically where, well, they used to have characters out, but now they'll have like different distances, markers. That's where they had the castle for Marathon Weekend. And that is always a good time as well.
So I have a expo question.
Go for it.
If I am trying to get certain merch, should I know the Run Disney Club, blah, 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 gets to go first, but would you actually start at A? Can you even start line?
Yes.
Is that
yes,
where the
you can
line
start
goes?
at A. Yeah, so
Okay.
when we did Marathon Weekend and we were there early, we went right to Building A, and they already had the queues all set up through that.
Okay.
And that, I think, is what most people actually do because it's the first building you pass. So it really kind of makes sense to go there. But it's really up to you. Sometimes, if it's later in the evening and you're pushing time, I would say go get your bib. Otherwise, yeah, you can go and do the Run Disney merch first, especially if you are going to be there early. That's what I would recommend doing because there's never really any line or crowding to pick up your bib. That process is super easy. I think very streamlined as well.
Hey, Lake, I know you don't normally do this, but how is the merchandise, the pre-sale stuff that you could buy, like the packages? What's the word I'm looking for? But like kind of the bundles of stuff. Did you look at those? Was it anything worthwhile this time for Princess?
I actually did not because they stopped the pre-sales super early this year. They stopped the pre-sales the same time that they had stopped pre-sales for Marathon Weekend. It used to, I feel like, be a lot longer. So I really don't have any information on that, to be honest.
I have some information. I'm trying to pull it up because I bought actually a couple of things this time because I didn't want there to be an issue of them running out. I feel like when would we have registered for this? I'm trying to find the email. I had just recently seen it. So I'm really sorry. Oh, I think maybe I can log in. But there was for sure Pandora charms, which, you know, Steve is right up your alley. But obviously not for you, but you can do it in the different distances. I feel like there were pins, and I believe I actually pre-ordered pins for myself. And then I think there were magnets that you could pre-order.
Yeah,
I
it
did
does
not do that.
tend to be a bunch of, it's like bundles. Like there'll be, you know, a half marathon bundle, a challenge bundle, there'll be pins bundles, pass holder bundles, that sort of thing. The only problem with that is you don't get to see anything until you pick it up, so you're literally buying it blind.
And you don't get, if you are a pass holder or DVC, you don't get your 20% off.
Exactly.
But at the same time, like for some races, by the time I had shown up for marathon weekend in the evening, people weren't able to get things they wanted. Like they couldn't get a magnet, they couldn't get a pin. So this allows you to get those items if you know you really want them.
Yeah, I have considered it for things like pins or magnets, things that I know we would end up getting anyways. I would be hesitant to do it for any sort of like clothing or jacket items because that sizing and designs end up crazy.
I don't think they offered that anyway.
But I do.
Yeah. You know, for anybody going this weekend too for Princess, they had some really cool backdrops for marathon weekend, and I'm sure they'll have the same thing too, especially if you're going there with a group or yourself. But I thought it was kind of, they had some really fun backdrops for you to get pictures with your group ahead of time, kind of to celebrate Princess weekend before you get out there and run it.
Yeah, and I did find that vendor list. We have Advent Health, Air Relax, which does the Normatec boots, I believe. Athletic Brewing's back, Beach Life Fitness, Because Charms, Boulder Athletic Wear, Bondi Band, Corksicle, Disney Vacation Club, Flip Belt, Fluffy Flizzies. Anyone know what that is? I don't.
No.
Fond Memories Graphics, Go Squeeze, High Dow, Jeff Galloway, KT Tape, Newton Running, One More Mile, Pandora Jewelry, Powered Living, Pro Compression, Rachel's Best Shop, Rock and Roll Running Series, Roo Sports, Run Disney, Scar and Company, Shocks, formerly Aftershock, Space Force T-minus 10 miler. That sounds kind of cool, not going to lie. I'm going to check that out. Sparkle Athletics, Sparkly Soul, SPI Belt, Springa, Starlight Children's Foundation, which is the new charity for Princess Weekend. As we all remember, it used to be Children's Miracle Network as not just the charity sponsor, but as the overall race sponsor. And then we have Sweaty Bands, Team 413, and Therabody. That was a mouthful.
So we got a couple questions. Does the AP discount still work on Expo merchandise? That's
Yes.
correct, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then
Also, hi, Steve.
yeah.
Glad you could join us.
Hi, also to
I
Anthony.
didn't think it did. I'd never go in
Other-
there, so I have no idea. I have no clue. I'm speaking like I know. Sorry.
Also, it works if you do the mobile checkout that they offer in there, which has been like the biggest game changer for doing the expos.
Oh wow, I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, it's really easy. If you're already used to using it in the parks, it's the same thing.
I used that at World of Disney. I think it was
Yeah.
very convenient.
Other than that, I don't have too much else about the expo. It does look like the vendor list is pretty packed this time, so I think we'll see a pretty popping expo, which is always nice. You know, I complained in the past about expos being on the decline, but I think Marathon Weekend was pretty bustling, and Marathon Weekend had a lot of like bigger athletic companies there, which was pretty cool as well. What was it? Echelon had like all their line of equipment out, which was pretty cool, and you could test all of that. It was Echelon, right?
Yes,
Yeah, thank you.
that one I know.
Other than that, anything else about the expos?
No.
All right. And Christy, you're not running the 5K, right?
I am not.
I am not either. So we'll go ahead and breeze through this 5K information here. Race start and finish is Epcot. Let's see if I can get that course map up here for you guys.
And while you're pulling that up, there is the yoga, I believe, the day before that too, right? Is it the day before or is
There
it the same
is the
day?
yoga. I forgot about the yoga. Before I do that, let me see if I can figure out that information.
So
here it
I
is.
will say that at some point there wasn't going to be transportation from the Disney resorts to yoga, but now there is. So if you are staying at a Disney resort, there will be transportation. However, you need to pay attention to your time because it's not going to be like the regular race weekends where it's continuous buses, your resort will have a single pickup time and you must arrive at that particular pickup time. Like you have to show up for your bus at its one particular time to take you to yoga. So if you're doing yoga, make sure you pay attention to that.
So check the event guide. The whole list is on here. I'm not going to go through every resort with every time, but I will note that most of the bus stops times are between 3:30 and about 3:40, and it lists what resort it is and what the exact time for your bus is. It basically looks like there's going to be like just enough busing to get you over there. And basically there's a whole lot of information on here about how they're being very unaccommodating about this. So
Yeah.
we'll see if this, I know it's coming back for springtime. They offered it again. But basically
I mean,
it's,
I feel like it's fine, right? We're grown-ups. If you just have to show up at your bus stop at the time that you're supposed to.
yeah,
So-
but big thing about this, make sure you bring your photo ID because there is no like
Oh.
expo or anything before this. You are checking in at the event. And then there is also a yoga check-in pass that you need. I'm sure it's very similar to the expo check-in pass. And that will also let you sign your waiver for it. Check-in begins at 4 a.m. at Disney Transportation and Ticket Center, which is where the busing will drop you off. The parking lot opens at 3:45 a.m. Security opens at 4 a.m. and guests must arrive prior to 5 a.m. for check-in. Transportation to Magic Kingdom parking main entrance will not be available after 5 a.m., which basically means they're not going to be running the ferry back and forth if they don't have to. Guests will be transported to Magic Kingdom Park and main entrance via the ferry boat. Walking paths to Magic Kingdom will not be available, nor will the monorail. So if you have any sort of adverse thoughts about the boats or the ferries, you're stuck.
So if you're staying at the Contemporary or the Grand Floridian, you can't walk to your own yoga,
I don't think so because you have to check in at
right?
Ticket.
Oh, jeez.
Well, they'd have to
And
put
then-
security up at those two spots too, so they don't want to pay for that.
Yeah, and then after that, it basically says you're going to be kicked out after it, so you can't be loitering around there unless you have
That
a
would be
park
cool,
pass.
though.
Must be 10 years old to participate. That doesn't matter because it's sold out. And yoga location is subject to change. Actual location within the activity area is on first come, first served basis. So that was a lot of information for what I thought was going to be like a nice, simple event.
Right.
Nothing's easy at the Magic Kingdom, is there?
I mean,
Well,
I
you
guess
could watch one
not.
of Lake's videos on MouseGen and do yoga to one of his running videos.
I mean, it is cool. I'll be interested to I'm sure someone's going to, have a video. It's not going to be me. But I'll be interested to see what people have to say about it. So if you did it and you see us this weekend, let us know because I would love to talk about it. But moving on to the 5K, unless anyone else has anything to say about yoga.
No, get a couple more comments. Dennis has joined us. Hello, Dennis. And Andrea says, I switched from the Contemporary to Poly due to the transportation issues. So,
I get
That's
that.
smart.
yeah.
We
And we do have a question. Just put this in the back of your mind so we don't miss it. But Amy asked if you have any tips for the warmer weather, since it's going to be a little bit warmer down there. But we can get that before we sign out today.
Hi, Amy. That's my sister-in-law, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Ah,
This is going to be her first Run Disney weekend. Or first non-virtual, I should say.
Exciting.
Yeah, she came down and we did Virtual Princess last year at Pop Century.
Oh man, the weather is warm. Holy crap!
fish, fish. And
Steve's
Anthony
eyes.
said hi as well, so let's say hi to Anthony.
I just
Hi,
looked. It's gonna be 85.
Is Anthony
on
running
Saturday.
this weekend?
He is not.
Okay. He just mentioned needing the merch.
He's running for a Figment popcorn bucket, it sounds like.
He's not. He's making fun of me for. I can't point to him. Figment.
Where are you staying, Christy? Wait, are you staying on property? No, you're driving.
No, I'm staying on property.
She won't
Oh,
say
yeah.
because she doesn't want
Oh,
anybody
she won't
knocking on
say
her door and waking her up early.
Not bad.
I'll talk about where we're staying then. But let's go ahead and knock out the 5K. So 5K is Friday, start time 5 a.m., just like all the other past race weekends. This is basically the standard Epcot course. I got the course map here for y'all. Right? Yep. There we go. Yeah, so pretty much the same 5K course that we've seen in the past couple races here. You're going to start in that Epcot parking lot and do that kind of quick around the side of the parking lot into the back entrance there, past Test Track, in by Mexico Pavilion. Then you're going around World Showcase, and you loop back around the Morocco Pavilion and back by Remy's, back into the park, into Mile 2, and then you're back out of the park to kind of go and do that back entrance area, which gets you back into World Showcase, by the UK Pavilion, down around the rest of World Showcase, and then you're going around what used to be Future World. Is that World Discovery now, or World? What are they called?
Whatever they call it. Did you see that if you want to leave a comment, they're using those words like nobody uses them? So I don't know.
World Nature, by the land and by the seas, and then you get your little quick spurt around the Spaceship Earth and on to the finish. I've ran the 5K the last 2 race weekends, and I've actually come to really enjoy them. They're just kind of a fun, go ahead.
It's a great course.
Lots of park time. And honestly, of all the races, this is the one where we kind of just meandered and had fun, moseying around. When I ran it with Katie, we stopped for a couple minutes and just watched the runners. We were back by American Adventure, and we just did some filming and stuff. So I've really liked the 5Ks. I found them very enjoyable. They're so casual too, really no stress. It's pretty tough to get swept as long as you are continuously moving. And then you're back to the resort super quick.
And I forgot, are you running that?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm just doing the challenge. But like I said, I'm a fan of the 5Ks though. They are a lot of fun. Just not running it this time.
Do they have as many characters out on the shorter races? Or it seems like
no. The typical ratio ends somewhere around 1 per mile, give or take, is what I found. So you really only end up with maybe 3 or 4 characters during the 5K, which some people I think don't really like. It doesn't seem like a lot. But I like the 5Ks. I like the course. It's a lot of fun. All right. I was waiting for someone to chime in there.
I've never done any of the 5Ks before.
Moving on to that 10K.
What's that?
Christy, what are you excited for the 10K?
The end? I mean, the first 3 miles are kind of awful, in my opinion. So, the second 3 miles, I mean, because you're just, on the road, and I like the end once we get to the boardwalk and Hollywood Studios, right? It goes through there.
Yeah.
I'm not delusional, right? So I don't know. Here's what I'm excited about. I am doing the challenge, God willing, and I will be excited about finishing. I think that's what I'm excited about for both races. So does one get excited about a 10K and a 10K before a half marathon? Please enlighten me, Lake.
I like the 10Ks. A little bit about this race as well. Of course, this race is Saturday. Start time 5 a.m. Start finish Epcot to Epcot. And this runs the new course that we saw debut during Marathon Weekend, which I think is the best 10K course that we've had in a long time. From anyone who's run the 10Ks, the first 3 miles, no matter what course it is always some big, long highway slog. It doesn't matter whether you're starting in Magic Kingdom and running towards Epcot, or if it was just the one that would run Epcot and then out by the boardwalk. The first 3 miles were also just on the highway. So I think this gives us the best bang for our buck with this course. You get 2 parks out of it for the 10K.
And the beauty of it is that once you make it through the 3 miles, it's entertaining and you're so close to being done. It goes quick and kind of how long things are going to take. And so in the first 3 miles is you're just excited and everybody has energy for 3 miles. And so all of that is good. So in that regard, I think it's not so bad.
Yeah, so going through this course, again, Epcot start, you run out the main entrance, which I always love running out the main entrance of Epcot. They're always playing music, and you get the caution runners, speed bumps ahead.
And when you're slow, you hear that 75 times.
And then you run out onto World Drive. You do have that little bit of a tight turn right after mile 1 when you're going down the speed ramp there. And then you go up the other, what's that called? The merge up there right at mile 3. And then after that, you're in Hollywood. And one thing that's cool about this course is you go around Tower of Terror the other way as compared to when you've run other half marathons where you go up by the Fantasmic Theater, which is kind of cool because you see the other side of Tower of Terror, and then you run in by the Cars attraction that we all forget is there, and run by Rock and Roller Coaster. And also, you get to run all the way down Sunset Boulevard onto the main road, and then you go out the quick side so that you're not bumping into the main entrance, little fingerprint scanners there. And then you're on to the
bathroom right before you leave to get through that little narrow walkway to get to the walkway back to the boardwalk. So I know that's a popular location.
Yep, and then you're on that little path for like half a mile. Then you're going and running along the Yacht Club side. There you hit mile 5, and then you're basically just a quick in and out of Epcot. You run a little bit of World Showcase. You run back by the land again, by Spaceship Earth, and then you're at mile 6, and you're at the finish. Like I said, I like this 10K course. I'm excited for the 10Ks. They're always fun.
I actually like running along the river there, along when you come towards Boardwalk and the Yacht Club. I think that's kind of a nice area to run too.
Yeah, that's always nice and pretty, especially if it's like kind of at that daybreak time when you're running that part. It's not like too hot.
It's always light when I'm running there, but it's lovely. You know what's also really cool is there's a ton of people out cheering along that part of the course too. I mean, I'm telling you, if you're interested in a 10K, the first 3 miles are a slog, but in theory, you can run the 3 miles to get there. And then the last 3 really go so quickly.
A couple questions. Well, Dennis says he's going to be thinking about you, Christy, and like as you guys are running, he's doing the 5K and half marathon this weekend in Fort Worth, and then
called Cowtown. I feel like you cannot
Cowtown 5K.
overlook Cowtown.
Yeah, and left that out, didn't I? And then Amy asked, do they have volunteers or cast members by the park bathrooms to let you know that they're open?
I don't think so, but you will literally see all the people running into them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those bathrooms are kind of like in their own little nook there. But the bathrooms are open. They just don't really tell you that they're open. But if you know where they are, and as Christy said, you'll see people running to them if they know where they're there.
And I swear people talk about it. So, like, I don't know what it's like at the front of the race, but in the back of the race, everybody's like, oh, the bathroom's coming up. Oh, we got to go to the bathroom. And, like, the friends are talking about going to the bathroom. So it's a whole discussion point.
Yeah, they're pretty easy to find. It's on that, like, main exciting part of Hollywood Studios there. Actually, you pass 2 bathrooms.
Right, because in the park, plus then you pass the ones right past the Skyliner.
Oh, 3 bathrooms then, because you pass the ones on Sunset, you pass the ones at the main entrance, and you pass the ones at the Skyliner.
Steve, why is this so funny? And you go to the bathroom as much as anybody. So frankly, this should be important to you.
He only talks about porta potties.
Yeah, I was just thinking about Steve being the expert. Maybe we should bring him in to talk about it.
Tell us about the cleanliness of these 3 bathrooms and which one would be your pick.
I'm an expert at desperately looking at a cast member at telling me where the next bathroom is. That's what I'm expert. That's about it.
I got a question for you and Christy. Like, so somebody's coming down there for the first time to run Princess Weekend, and they're doing the challenge. What advice do you have for them as far as running these races back to back? Like things to think about in between the races, rehydrating, all that type of stuff. What are some of your strategies so that you're successful in running both of those races?
I would not recommend racing both of the races. First off, I would pick one or the other. In the past, we have done like the 10K as our faster race and then went and just kind of chilled for the half marathon, but I've done it the other way as well. Both can work, or you can just have fun at both. That is a very viable option as well. Other than that, in between, stretching after the 10K is big, and just making sure you're hydrating is probably the biggest one, especially if you're someone who's going to be going into the park and trekking around all day. You end up racking up just as many miles as you do running, if not more, if you're trying to fit a full park day in.
And maybe don't. Maybe that's for a first timer, or depending on how you did for your training, because some people really like the Galloway, which I did not do for my training program, but it makes you run that challenge like a couple of times, and it really has you put the miles in. So if you are really comfortable with it and very ready, then, run your race. But I think maybe resting and getting a good night's sleep after the 10K would be my advice, and is what my plan is going to be. Just sort of really taking it easy. We are going to do a tiny visit to the Magic Kingdom the night before the half marathon, but it's really just to eat. And that's kind of it.
How about you, Steve? Any advice for people running back-to-back races like that?
I haven't done it, but I would say that I'd be careful about how much I went into the park. I would absolutely be careful about what I was eating too, and hydrating. Like, there's tons of maybe things that you don't normally eat before you run that are around the parks and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's just you got to know your body and what you're comfortable with. But a little bit of walking after can help, like, flush out some lactic acid and maybe help without getting too stiff. But you can walk. You could very easily walk 5 miles in a park in a half day. I mean, it's not hard to do. So.
Probably is a good time to kind of answer Amy's question about tips for the warmer weather as well, because that's going to tie right into all of this recovery about not overdoing it, like we said. And I know we're not doing anything after the 10K. As far as I know, we might have like dinner plans, but that should pretty much be a resort day for us. But just, keeping cool, maybe some pool time, and hydrating is probably the biggest thing.
Do you recommend hydrating with something other than water? So would you use a Nun tablet or some Gatorade besides after the race? Like, will you do any of that type of hydrating, or just water for the day?
So what it looks like for me, let's just say I just finished the 10K and I'm going through the chute. I will usually grab 2 of the Powerades and 1 of the bottles of water. I'll drink the first Powerade like right there, right then. That'll be gone pretty much by the time I'm out of the chute. And I don't always drink the second Powerade, but it's nice to have just in case. I also usually pack Gatorade, but I also pack the Nuuns too. Usually just right after the races, I like to have kind of that super sugary. But then after I get back to the resort, it tends to be basically 1-to-1. So I'll do like a bottle of water, and then my next hydration will be a bottle of Nuun. Then my next one will be a bottle of water. So that tends to work to not get me overhydrated, but also not get too much of the electrolytes in me either.
That's good.
Nice 6-pack of like Natty Light. No,
whole loaf of bread.
So let me just talk about that really quick, if you don't mind. I had some hydration issues right before, so my kid's almost 8, and just before I even got pregnant, I was having these issues. The bottom line is that I've been drinking more fluids during my runs, and drinking like what a real runner, that's what I call them, would be like, you don't need fluids for a 5K, but I do. And I haven't had a hydration problem since. And also I've been dry for January. So January, February, not drinking. Like when you guys left for marathon weekend, I think was my last time having any alcohol. And so for me, that's been really helpful with my hydration. Like I'm not doing anything to sort of interfere with keeping my body hydrated. I will for sure have an adult beverage after the half marathon, not immediately after, but after. And But I won't in between those two races for sure, because I'm going to do everything I can to help with my hydration.
Yeah, if I'm getting ready to like run a big race, like a PR race, I typically won't drink pretty much at least a month beforehand. And if like we're doing a challenge, I don't typically drink like the night or really the couple nights leading up to race weekend or after the 10K. After the half, though, it's all out there.
People do like sweat tests on themselves. Like, there's a huge spectrum of electrolyte loss. So some people lose more electrolytes when they run. Just because you perspire a lot doesn't mean that you have a high amount of salt and sodium loss and electrolyte loss. So it's the percentage of how much you're sweating that is the issue of electrolytes. So for some people, like I think my wife, like when she'll come back from a run, she has like salty lips. Like she can actually kind of it tastes salty to her because I think she tends to have a higher amount of electrolyte loss where I don't experience that. Like I don't know if you've ever run and you just kind of stop sweating and you see those little like white sort of marks sometimes. That's salt
all over my arms today. Like
yeah, so then you may have a heavier amount of electrolyte loss. So you may need more electrolytes. I mean, you're getting electrolytes from food, right? Because you're getting salt and stuff from food also. So there's nothing wrong with water. It's just especially when you have a high of 85 on Saturday and a high of 80 on Sunday. If you're doing a challenge, that compound amount of loss could be a lot, and that's when you will get muscle cramps, fatigue, all sorts of perhaps even like GI issues and so on. So it can wreak havoc on you completely. So, and I think from what I understand and everything that I say or we say, you should totally look up and do your own research for sure. But the hydration is a compound effect. So leading up to it, especially if you're coming from a cooler climate, coming here, you're going to sweat more. And really the humidity becomes one of the bigger factors. Don't think about hydration the night before. Think about it all throughout your training and leading up to that moment. Because it's hard to play catch up, I think, when it comes to electrolyte and hydration. So that would be what I would say, particularly here. It's like I've had moments like training here where I've started to see like kind of stars a little bit and feel like awful. It gets unbelievably hot, even 6 o'clock in the morning, during the summer here and stuff. So.
Yeah, there's definitely been some race weekends where we've walked out of the hotel door and been like, oh, no.
Well, I mean, if it's 85 here in February it's Saturday, imagine what it's going to be like in April during like the springtime stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's a cold front forecast for that already. So.
Oh, I hope so.
He's bringing it with him.
Yeah.
Bring it with the Alaska airline. Bring all that nice Pacific Northwest cool air this way, please.
Definitely. And to your point, which was, I was going to piggyback on what you said, as far as like the race day goes too, don't wait to hydrate as you're running. Make sure you stay on top of it, because once you feel like you need something to drink, it's probably a little bit too late. So stay on top of that. Hey, I got a question for you guys. Kara brings something up. She says she's going to walk the 10K and shooting for a half PR. So don't yell. She's going to be over on the sidewalk. She won't be stopping in front of you guys. But she recommended Liquid IV. I just started using that I pick it up at Costco. Have you guys ever tried that before?
Mm-mm.
I haven't.
I like Liquid IV a lot. The only caveat for me with Liquid IV, I would say, is there is sugar in it. If just as a note, it does have actual sugar in it, but the original formula was actually created for people that had hangovers. That's why it was called Liquid IV, and runners use it. There's a couple kind of knockoffs also. I think the principle with it is that I'm pretty sure the formula and the sugar has helped to, aid in like super hydration. I like it. I don't always use it for training. I just don't want the added sugars, but it's good stuff. They make an energy product too, with you
a gel or something like that.
It's a powder.
Okay.
It's a powder that I've used that I actually like. It's like, like your typical stuff, B vitamins and caffeine, things like that.
So do some research on it before you use it, I guess. So, well, like anything, right?
A couple other real quick heat points, especially because I do a lot of my running a little bit later in the morning here. And so I put water on my back, and like from my water bottle, it makes a huge difference just to cool me down a little bit. And then I will be bringing a handheld water bottle. Actually, I tuck it in my shirt a little bit, but for the race. And my family's going to be coming out I'll probably bring it for both, but probably not do much refilling it in the half or in the 10K. But for the half, my family's just going to come and swap them out with they're going to catch me a couple of times, swap them out with some colder water because it does get hot just being out there. But that for me, because again, Disney's great at hydrating you, but for me, it's not enough. And I don't want that fear and I get dizzy and feel like I'm going to pass out when I don't get even water as hydration. So I'm just going to carry it. And that's my tip. And then for the half marathon, Disney will have, at least they always have, and I assume they'll have sponges over usually at the Polynesian course. Like they have in the past for me. Somebody's
Really?
giving out sponges. Have they not for you guys? So I'd always, for Princess, now my last Princess was in 2009, but we always in that, maybe if you're really slow, you get them.
Nick, have you seen it?
They had them for marathon weekend, actually, even for me. And there's been times where, like, running hotter races where I've seen that they've had them, but they weren't, like, quite yet handing them out. Morgan says sponges at mile 10.
Man,
So let's hope that they do have them out. Yeah, I have seen them before, but it's only been, like, races that they were going to be real hot.
I have this dumb question. Is it literally like a...
It's literally
It's
like
a
sponge
wet
that's
sponge.
watered.
You just
And honestly, it's great.
get it everywhere.
Why would you just dump the water they give you on you?
Well, I don't know.
It's just something to cool people down. It's literally like they have like a kiddie bath.
Do it in the professionals use the little sponge. They have a thing that picks up sponge sometimes throughout the
you know what
races.
they need? You know what they need? Yeah, I have seen that, Christy.
So
for sure. I'm actually like thinking now we need like a slip and slide out there. You know what I mean?
I would never get up, but yes, that sounds fun.
Awesome.
I would love to watch other people do that.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the legal ramifications of the slip and slide there.
It'd be
Too.
so
I think
cool.
that's called obstacle course racing.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for.
Steve Thomas also in the chat said to consider sunglasses and a hat with a visor if finishing after sunrise. Definitely going to be doing that.
Hi, Chris.
Yeah, there's sunglasses can really save you once the sun comes up. And then our friend Chris says, it's sad that you're missing Chris. Chris is the best. I think we can all agree with that.
Chris is the best.
No
Chris
objection.
is the best.
No objection.
Chris is the best. It's gonna be the new mantra of the show.
Chris, what's your
Remember, guys,
favorite medal?
Chris is the best.
What's your favorite princess medal? I'm curious. I'm sure if you have seen them. We'll see if he types back. I think the challenge is pretty cool. The Moana medal.
Yeah. Well,
did I cut to the chase here, Lake? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Let's go ahead and hit the half, and then I'll pull up the picture of the medals, and we can fawn over them. All
As
right.
you're pulling that up, Morgan says the sponges are heavenly, especially when there's no shade after that clover leaf.
Chris Bright's Googling the medals.
Yeah, I have a picture of them all that we can put up then. But let's get into the half, because this is where we got some fun changes to look forward to. So we're all going to get what we were wishing for here. So if you were not a fan of that long walk all the way out around the backside of Epcot onto the highway, rejoice, because that is no longer there. And if you are driving to the race, cry a little bit, because this just got a whole lot more complicated, because that's what happens when you want one thing, but something else has to literally take the place of the parking spots. No, but basically, I believe there's construction out the backside of Epcot there, so we weren't able to do the normal start. So the start is actually in the Epcot parking lot. Finish is also in Epcot. And I'll go ahead and just read all of this verbatim for you. For drivers, all runners and spectators must park at Disney's Hollywood Studios. For resort guests, participants, and spectators who are staying at host resorts are encouraged to utilize the provided Run Disney event transportation. Runners and guests staying at Disney's Contemporary, Bay Lake, Polynesian, Villas, and Grand Floridian must take the monorail to get to the start of the race, which is what we are doing for the half marathon. And the last time we did it, I was a big fan of it, to be honest. That was when there was a lot of traffic issues, and we got to just monorail right over all of that. That was pretty sweet. Also, you get to do security before you even get on the monorail, which is also very nice. So basically, if you were driving, you were parking at Hollywood Studios, which is like a whole other way to get into the park there. Nothing like getting towards Epcot. I think that about covers all of that pre-race stuff. Anything else to add to that, Christy? All right, then let me go ahead and get this course map up here for you. So this is pretty standard other than the new start that we'll see here. Yeah, there you are.
Chris is throwing some shade with those medals, but we'll get to that in a sec.
Yeah, so, all right, going over this course. This is, like I said, very standard Princess course, other than we have the start that looks exactly like the 10K start because we're starting in the parking lot there.
For us, this is good. We don't have to walk the 1 mile to the start line.
Correct.
So that's a plus for non-drivers.
For people staying in the bungalows, Christy.
I wish.
In the cabins. No.
Also
yes,
wish.
so the start is going to be actually in the parking lot there, which means you will be able to get to the corrals a lot quicker. The only thing I don't like about that is I think this start area is going to look a lot more congested compared to, say, what the 10K is going to look like. I like the big highway start because the corrals are all, spread out one behind each other. So I feel like it lets people spread out a little bit more. This is, I think, is going to feel a little bit more one on top of the other, but I very much could be wrong, and I hope I am. But after that, the race course looks pretty similar. You are going out the main entrance of Epcot, whereas you used to go down Epcot Center Drive and take the merge. So you do have to do this like kind of weird little loop with a tight turn right after mile 1. That is probably not going to be fun the way that looks down there. And then after that,
if you're slow, it's not as bad.
I was thinking like congestion wise though, just those tight turns
bad.
are a lot of people like trying to intersect each other there. But then the course is pretty much exactly the same as what we saw for Marathon Weekend half, as well as pretty much every other Princess and Marathon half. You're going to go up World Drive, and you're going to go through the Magic Kingdom parking lot. I feel like we always like knock this as like being boring, but I feel like there's always like a ton of characters and different meet and greets in the parking lot.
Oh, that's good to know.
Like especially Marathon Weekend, like there was a whole lot going on during that. So that was fun.
It's a good place for people that want to see their runners too. There tends to be some pretty good energy as you run through there.
Yeah, I know some people would go there to watch runners and then would walk over to the Poly. I did hear there was some issues with that during the marathon, but let's hope that that doesn't continue to happen and that people can do that. And then you're running to Magic Kingdom. You get to run under the water thing there. And then you do the loop into Magic Kingdom. The Magic Kingdom loop is pretty much exactly the same. You're going to go through Main Street, super hype, all the cheering, all the fun stuff, like the biggest rush of adrenaline of the whole race, basically. And you get the music playing. You're going to turn right down to Tomorrowland, go through Tomorrowland to Fantasyland by the circus, and then back through Fantasyland, down through the castle. If you want to get that cool jumping castle pic, go to the left. They'll have a ton of photographers out there for you. You can get your cool jumping pic there, and then head on over to the left again, and you go through Frontierland there. And then you go back, and you do a quick little loop, basically back by Mine Train, or not Mine Train, Big Thunder Mountain. Yeah, the other Mine Train, the original. And then you're going to do another tight turn there and out to the exit. And this is going to put you back basically by mile 6. This is where you're going to hit kind of the boring part, the slog.
It's a really long slog too.
It is. And if it's still dark for you, mile to 6 to 7 is just like miserable because you can barely see anything. And you're all condensed to one lane of the road and cars are coming at you with their headlights on. So that's not fun. But if it's daybreak by the time you're at that point, it's not as bad.
Then you're cooking.
Yes.
Literally.
Then it gets hot. So you're running down by Polynesian and Grand Floridian there, and you're on World Drive, basically all the way past the parking lot, all the way through to mile 9. You're going to hit the loop there at mile 10 to get on to Epcot Center Drive. There you'll run that, and that's like that secretly hilly part. It's just like a lot of up and down until you go and you do the other turnaround to run in towards Epcot. And then the Epcot part is just a very quick in and out. You're going to go back around the seas. You enter by, I believe that's Journey into Imagination and Land right in between there. And then you're going to run, let me see here, down by Creation Shop and then out and around towards Spaceship Earth. And then you go and you finish in the parking lot there. Same finish as we've seen for the last couple race weekends.
So I wanted to point out there is an Instagram page, Once Upon a Marathon, and she has a couple of posts very recently where she describes kind of in detail like you did, like maybe a little bit more of some certain nuances of the marathon course, which I think for especially somebody who is a first timer or hasn't done it recently is very helpful. She also has a post to answer, I forget, was it Amy's question? But with the bathrooms marked. So she marks which bathrooms, like actual non-porta potty bathrooms, are available on the course for the half marathon. So not the 10K, but the half marathon. So that would be helpful if you're running, then you know, hey, you can study that a little bit ahead of time. And for me, it was nice to just sort of study the maps and study the course a little bit, just to like physically prepare, because like I needed a little bit of a mental preparation for that slog, especially, you know, it's hot when you're over by the golf course in the Polynesian if you're in the back of the pack by the time you get that far, but it's at least pleasant. It's like there's people cheering and there's people on the golf course and it's kind of quiet. It's really lovely and pleasant. It's hot, but it's pleasant. But for me, I needed that mental assistance for the miles 7 through 9 or 10, really 10 or 11, right? Of just knowing no, this is just going to be sort of boring, sort of hard. I was thinking of the people that did the marathon and after they got out of Animal Kingdom and they had that horrible run back to Epcot and just sort of boring. And so like just stuff like that, or back to Hollywood Studios. I don't know. I don't do the marathon, but like just looked at that, right? Like those people could do it. I can do this. So just whatever you need to sort of talk yourself into the preparation of that little bit of a slog.
I believe in you, Christy. You can do it.
Aw.
That is also the part where if you're someone who like is going to bring headphones and music, that's the part where you put the headphones and music in, you know, despite what people say. As long, you know, put one headphone in or wear your shocks, whatever you can do to still be safe, you know, that's where you put it in and you grind it out.
Right. Yeah, you can have the volume down a little bit and not have it blaring, but
anything else for the half marathon? If anyone else has any other questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I think we've been pretty much hitting them pretty good there. If not, we can kind of move on to some other extraneous things, talk about the medals and all of that fun stuff. Because I don't think there's anything else in the expo guide that I needed to hit or thought we should hit.
I haven't looked at it. I missed the real guide. And like the real guide told spectators kind of how to be a spectator and how to even get from place to place. I would say the real guide, but back in my day, back when I was a kid doing these runs.
No, the real guides were nice.
Yeah.
Like to have like the little physical maps and everything in there were very nice. But, you know, this is the same Same rant as the Paper Navigators
Ugh.
for any DCL fans listening here.
There might be a couple.
There might be a couple. One or two. Couple in this stream here. But all right, you guys want to talk about medals then?
Yeah, let's talk about the medals. Chris is
about
excited
medals.
about it. I know that. So
All right. Let me see here.
So Chris threw some shade at Cinderella's medal.
oh my
He's
goodness.
like, so
No, he said
you know.
Cinderella was the best.
Hey, by the
Yeah,
way, I
that
saw her.
said
in the
no
ship.
one ever.
Oh,
saw her
I
on the
did miss
ship.
that.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to make a snarky comment, but don't worry about it. It's not that good.
Ah,
There
look
you
at
go,
how
look at
cute
that.
those are. I can, I should like screenshot the medals and so that I can have a little inspiration.
I have in my Marathon Weekend Expo video, I have some close-ups of all of these medals on video, and they are stunning, honestly. And what's really cool about these is the backside of all of them have a really cool 50th embellishment on them. So they're cool medals. I'm very excited for them. And they all, you can see, have that nice like iridescent pattern on it. So I'm pretty hyped for these ones.
I'm going to use Mulan's fierceness in her 13.1 medal to help get me through. And the idea that I get to earn the Moana medal. So
I do. I love that Moana medal. And the flowers on it all spin around.
oh my God, that's so fun.
Yeah, they're very cool medals. Also, I did mean to mention, you talked about like breaking down the course and stuff. If you watch my Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend half marathon video, with the exception of the start, that course that I run, and I show a really good portion of the course there, it's like a 30 or 40 minute video, will give you a pretty good idea of what that course looks like. Like I said, the only exception is the start there. But if you watch the 10K video, that's going to be the exact same course, and that's going to be the same start style as the half as well. So a little bit of self-promotion there.
Find that at MouseJen.
I kind of feel like what they took away in the t-shirts, they put into the medals as far as quality. They've really stepped it up over the last couple of races.
Yeah, these all look really good.
Yeah.
I don't hate my t-shirt from the 10K from Marathon Weekend. Did you guys think that quality is not as nice? I mean, maybe it was a little
I think I threw mine out.
polyestery. What?
They're horrible. I hate them.
They're better than they were before the shutdown. They're not as itchy. I think they're not as like sturdy though. Like almost all of mine have some sort of like pulling of threads and that sort of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
They need a good partner for the shirts, like a good brand.
The thread. It was like the thread pulled on it immediately after I
Yeah.
watched it. It was already. I was like, this is.
What are you guys doing to your shirts? Just kidding.
I mean, I wear a Run Disney shirt like probably every day. Like I get home from work and I'll put that and like a pair of athletic shorts on. So,
The really short ones that you race in?
No, not those. Just
Christy
like
with the
basketball
jokes. I like it. There you go. She's been watching.
Just
What's
wait.
up?
I think I'm gonna wear my lime green ones for the princess half.
Yes.
Oh.
Maybe the bright orange ones for the 10K.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Shorter the better, Lake. Shorter the better.
We'll see. Our one of our
Look for the pasty
friends
ties on the
in our
course.
running
It's like-
group is like a big fan of the same brand, and she has like all the same shorts that I do. So she keeps teasing that she's gonna show up with the same outfit as me.
I like it. I'm a
Yeah.
fan. Get those.
We have
short
a
shorts
comment
on.
from is that Morgan? The old school medals are my favorite. The 5th anniversary was the best. I've got a little thing in front of me, so I can't. In my opinion, spinner metal tip, bring some painter's tape to secure the spinning part if you want to wear them around after. And since the half looks like, yes, the half is a spinner. Another thing that I like to do, and I typically won't wear all 3 medals. Like I'll just wear the half and then the challenge, because if you wear the challenge, you know you did the 10K, and I'll put the 10K in my bag. But what I'll do with the half medal is if you take the medal on the back and you just tie it off so the neck is a little bit shorter, they'll sit one above the other, and then they won't smack each other and make the clinky noise and then scratch them.
Right.
So that's what I tend to do, like right after the race, so that they're not doing the cling, 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 cling that you're going to hear all day in the parks.
I like that sound.
But other than that, Christy, you didn't want to share like any of your other plans for the weekend?
Well, we are staying in a monorail resort. I'll say that. And we will be spending a lot of time. I would say we're going to be spending some meals at the Magic Kingdom. So we probably won't do anything else in the parks. My son's already said, but we could go shopping, right? So we'll probably do some shopping or something. But yeah, more of just a meal situation, walk through. For me, hopefully after I'll take some pictures by the castle, because if you're doing, we lost.
Yep, we lost Lake.
We need him.
He'll be back here in just a second. So yeah, well, it sounds like a fun weekend for you guys. I know you're excited about getting back out and running again, and especially doing the challenge. So good luck to everybody out there that's going to be out there running with you.
Yeah, good luck to everybody.
I don't know why don't they add the 5K on those? Any idea on that one, Steve? Like a marathon weekend, it's all 4. So, but I guess that was later when they added Dopey, huh?
Why don't they add it to the challenge?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know.
I'm glad they didn't.
I know it's one more early morning. You got to get up to run. Here we go.
Sorry, I went to like close all of my extraneous tabs and get rid of the screen sharing, and I closed this page instead.
And you closed yourself.
Yep. I was just like I was like, what happened?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they don't have that option. Maybe they don't have enough interest, so they don't want to make, the medal and the shirt and all the rest that they, because you'd still always do the challenge. I think the 10K half together, and then adding in the 5K would be, I don't know. You'd have to maybe make it a separate thing.
The 5K is usually the first thing that sells out without adding the challenge on. And this is a great example of what happened with Springtime Surprise is no one can get in the 5K because the 5K was part of the challenge. So both the challenge and the 5K like instantly sold out because that's the lowest capacity race. Because while it is the shortest distance, they're also trying to get you in and out of there real quick. So that's kind of the story about why they don't do that super consistently.
Gotcha.
That makes sense.
Guys, I'm sorry to do this. I got to roll. My wife has to get the meds out of here to give to my pet. So I'm going to bid you guys adieu.
Steve,
Bye,
it was
Steve.
great to talk to you. I'm sure I will talk to you pretty much every day.
Absolutely. Christy, good luck.
Thank
You'll
you.
rock it. Maybe we'll get out there and cheer you on if we can. Always a pleasure. I'll talk to you guys in a little
Thanks for
bit.
joining us.
All
See you,
right,
Steve.
bye, guys.
All right. So go ahead.
Something that Steve maybe joining us made me think of is iPhone batteries. So I will say that I am a back of the packer, like we've discussed, and I was testing to see if I thought I was going to need another battery pack or a charger to come with me. And I think we are buying, because we need it for another reason anyway, one of those like credit card magnet chargers that then I could put on the back of my phone and I usually use a clip when I run, and I will clip it outward facing if I need to use it. But I did a test today. So if you have the most recent, so iPhone 13, you can be pretty slow and use a GPS tracking type device on your phone, plus I've been doing a run walk now for me and my old age, apparently, to get through these runs. And so I have a timer going. So it tells me when to run and when to walk. All of that was going, music was going, and I still had lots of battery left. So you can feel confident that even slow, your battery could make it through the race.
Yeah, I don't carry my phone with me on a run, but I will tend to put the charger in my check bag. That way, sense. Even, afterwards we're hanging out or when Katie finishes, I have one ready for her.
Is your phone in your check bag too then?
It typically is, actually. Okay. But I still bring one with me.
That's because your little tiny shorts won't hold your phone up.
That's right. I got I forget what brand it is, but it's basically like one of those flip belts for Christmas, and it's like just big enough to hold my phone. And I've actually been using that because I wouldn't like run with anything or bring any music or anything, and that's actually been nice to like mix up some of my runs. And I actually like that way more than like I thought I would.
See, that's good to know too, because like as a person with hips, I have no problem. My flip belt is not moving off of my hips because the curves keep them there. But it's good to know you could be like a skinny man with your short shorts and your flip belt doesn't slide off. And I can't let the short shorts thing go. It's just going to be forever.
I mean, it's fine. I'm still going to rock them, so.
You do as well.
Oh, thanks. I guess I'll go over my plans real quick. We are doing a split stay again, which is always exciting. So we'll be at Pop Friday night and Saturday. No, just Friday night. Right? Sorry, I'm getting my date. Friday.
So for Saturday, you are taking Pop transportation to get to the 10K.
Yes. And then on Saturday, we are checking out of Pop and we are checking in over at the Contemporary. So we're going to be doing the monorail transportation, as I mentioned, to the half marathon, which I am pretty excited about. And then I think park-wise, we are just doing a little bit of Magic Kingdom on Sunday, or a lot of it. I don't know. I didn't like do a whole lot of the planning for this one. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to show up and run.
Nice. Perfect.
As always, I'll be there. I'll be filming. If you ran Marathon Weekend or you had said hi to me at Marathon Weekend, come and find me because I had buttons made for that weekend to give to people, and they did not arrive in time. So I have them this time. I don't have Princess Weekend buttons, unfortunately. I just didn't have time to do all of that this time. But come and get Marathon Weekend buttons from me. And like I said, come and say hi to us because it was so great to meet so many people. Steve, you were with us when we got to meet a couple people as well. And thank you all for watching our videos and, you know, tuning into all of this and joining us for the Run Disney Rundown. Do we have anything else to add before we
Kara did mention that she's rocking her running underwear. You go, girl. I wish that I had the body for that. That's all I have to say. And the short shorts, frankly, let's be honest.
Yeah, some people look at it like you look good in those. I don't think there's some of us that they don't need to see us out there running with the short shorts. So,
I mean, I also wear spandex under it, so it's not like it's all thigh or anything.
Hey, before we get out of here, just with the split stays, be careful. Depending upon what you're doing. Especially my brother and his husband on Marathon Weekend, they did their split stay in between the half and the marathon, and they couldn't get to their room because check-in time at 4. So they were outside of their room from, I can't even remember. Well, they checked out at 11. So they were kind of just hanging out in the lobby of the Animal Kingdom Lodge for a couple hours, and that kind of bummed them out a little bit. But anyway, just think about it. If you're going to do a split stay, and I'm not picking on you.
No, I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest.
Yeah, it would. Maybe don't recommend it, but if you do it, maybe think about it. If you're running several of the races, maybe do it between the shorter rather than the.
One thing that helps is doing your check-in like as early as you can, like days in advance, and put that you're going to be there, you know, by your checkout time, or if not even earlier. And that definitely helped us get rooms ready for when we have done it in the past. I think for what was it? What's the weekend before Marathon Weekend?
Wine and Dine.
Wine and Dine. Yeah, we were at 3 different resorts that weekend because we had to piece together like a DVC stay last minute.
Taping it together.
We actually lucked out that our room was almost always like ready right after our checkout time. But yeah, it's not something I would always recommend for people to do, especially for race weekends where you're tired. And like for Marathon Weekend, we had checked out after the marathon because I thought I had booked us through the next day, so we didn't have to. And then it turned out we did. So we had to rush back to the room, shower, get out of there. We were like way past checkout time. And then we had to drive over to Old Key West and wait for the room to be ready. And we were just sleeping at the pool, like on
and
the
walk
chairs.
Upstairs once it was ready.
That did happen, yeah. There was a lot of stairs in that room. It was a cool room, though.
Even imagine. I can't imagine.
Was it one of those 2-story rooms where?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the 3-bedroom there, which
That's
I
awesome.
didn't post any video on. I'll have to post that then because it was a lot of fun. We enjoyed staying there. I think we're doing it again for marathon weekend.
But not checking out the day maybe of the marathon.
Hopefully not. It depends though, because of where we're staying there. It might be a little bit more to add that extra day. So we'll see what that looks like.
Well, good luck to both of you guys. It's going to be a fun weekend and definitely PR time for both of you, right?
This will be my slowest time. I have done some math on how it's going to go, and the goal is to just finish at this point, and continue my little walk-run cycle.
I'm not going to PR, but I'm actually in better shape than I was for a marathon weekend for sure. I've actually gotten some speed work in, and my base is much better than it was for marathon weekend. So I'm not going to like full out race anything, but I am excited for maybe one of the races to, at least maybe push the pace a little bit. But I think that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. We enjoy having you all here if you joined us live, and thank you if you're listening or rewatching this at any other point after. If you're running Princess Weekend, let us know what races you're running, what you're excited for, and then come back and let us know your thoughts from the weekend. We'll have a Princess after show as well. That'll probably be at least the week after Princess, if not longer, because I am getting on the Disney Magic the day after the half marathon, me and Katie. So we are very excited for that as well. We'll have content for all of this, but that all won't come out until we get back from our cruise. But until then, Steve, Christy, where can we find you guys?
Go ahead, Christy.
Steve and I are over at the DCL podcast. So we produce our bi-weekly, how do you say that? It comes out twice a week. And then you can find me at Pack Your Pixie Dust all over social media.
And if anybody has any questions, like some ideas of some different shows that we could cover on the Run Disney Rundown, please reach out to either myself, Steve at DCLpodcast.com, Christy at PackYourPixieDust.com, and I'll let you say yours, like where the best place to reach you. But if anybody has any questions, either leave them underneath the videos themselves or send us an email. And because our last show that we did was off a listener question, and always looking for some new ideas for some new content for you guys.
Yeah, that show was really awesome. If you haven't watched that, our friend Kelsey came on and talked all about running the Chicago Marathon, and that was so cool to just like listen to her talk about her whole experiences and the difference from that. So definitely go back and listen to that one if you haven't. But you can find me over at MouseGen on YouTube. That is where the bulk of our content is. You can also follow us on Instagram at mouse.gen and also on Facebook at MouseGen. But until then, that's going to do it. Good luck to everyone running Princess, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.